to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. I will be off camera today, you guys. I'll be back on camera for our next lives, which I believe are tomorrow. But James is here for the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. Please see the link in the description of this video so that you can subscribe to his channel. I think you should.
I think you should too. It's free.
Wrong channel.
I mean, you know, subscribe to that channel too. But what
subscribe
I'm saying,
to Also Best also.
Yeah, subscribe to his channel as well. But yeah, subscribe to my channel, especially if y'all, come on. I need the subscriber count. I need y'all to come up. Y'all know y'all watch me. Y'all know y'all enjoy yourselves. I know some of y'all have liked the video or two. Go ahead and subscribe. What are y'all waiting for? Please, thank you.
Oh, Lord. Yes, you guys. I'm excited to get into this review. I'm enjoying reviewing Married at First Sight. I've loved this show for a long time. Never thought to review it, but I didn't have anything else to review. So I'm glad that it worked out that way. Thank you for being back. And first, Shani, we appreciate you so much. This episode was season 19 episode. Oh, it says 19, but it was episode 10. I don't know why I typed the 19. God help me. It was titled Retreat and Defeat. This episode was a hot mess to a certain extent. We start with all of the couples going on a couples retreat as it gets closer to decision day. Decision day on this show is essentially the couples deciding if they're going to stay married or if they're going to go get their annulments and be done like this never happened. And
so are they legally married?
Yes.
Or is
Yes.
Okay, so they are legally married. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yeah, that's what makes it, I think, a little different from other shows in concept.
Okay.
But that's why the experiment is the timeline it falls under, because I believe I read somewhere years ago that they can get an annulment and act like it was never there or something. So that's a good thing.
Okay.
See, will you all do Power this season? I love Power book. I know that Force is back. I'm saying it loudly so my husband can know it's time for us to resubscribe to Stars. I know that Raising Canaan's coming back in 2026 as well. I never actually considered recapping Power. I never considered it. I love Power. Let me think on that, because I can't see myself. Usually I watch Power with my husband and it's a vibe. I can't see myself taking notes and doing that through it. I also tried scripted reviews on my channel with The Shy. They did not do so great. So I want to try scripted again. I was considering trying it again with Beyond the Gates, which I think you and Kevin Reynolds had suggested, which is like soap opera, so it's a little easier to get into. But Power book, oh no.
So I have a confession that I need to make. I have not seen one full episode of this show in any of the variations. However, I do love Ghost's wardrobe. I want every single suit. I want every single jogging suit. That's to go to show you I don't watch this shit. But I want all of his wardrobe. So now that he is dead on the show, Stars, can y'all send me his entire wardrobe? I wear a 34 in the waist and a 30 long. Please go ahead and send me every suit and variation of everything he had in his closet. Thank you very much, because I would rock every single last one of those suits.
I used to think Ghost was fine. And then after we met Angela, I was like, oh, he ain't shit. And I just ain't never looked at the waves the same again. Shandy said I was not with you all when The Shy was being reviewed. I would have been there for that review. Tommy had the flight. I will consider, because you're not the first person to ask me that. So I will genuinely consider. If I did review Power, I think I would prefer to do it in like a reaction type of stuff where you can watch me watch the episode versus me taking notes and doing a structured review like this.
If I could take a leave of absence to watch it with you, I would do that.
No worries. I would probably do it with my husband because he's watched all of it and is aware of that show.
I gotta Google Tommy because I don't know who Tommy is.
Tommy is our favorite colorless boy that's invited to the club.
Oh, Joseph Secure. Okay, I know you're talking about that. Okay. I was like, wait.
He's a good actor. every time I see Joseph Sikora in something, the role is so different. I'm like, good for you on not being typecasted. That's hard to do.
I'm not into those kind of shows, Channy, but I do enjoy, like, Peacock has one called Teacup that I just started and I'm glued in. I like those kind of shows. I'm not into, even though I write these kind of shows, I'm not into them.
Tommy is it. People didn't like Force, but I loved Force. It's just with Force, you have to like really pay attention. If you don't pay attention, you can't just be doing dishes and stuff when Force is on, or you're not gonna know what's going on. But getting into this episode, the couples are going to share a house. They're going to Lake Travis, Texas. Ugly ass lake, but I digress. Everybody's going to share a house. The house is beautiful. Megan and Derek arrive first, and they are deciding that they're not going to announce their pregnancy to anybody until after they go to the doctor, get an ultrasound, tell their families, which is the appropriate thing. I believe traditionally a lot of people don't say anything until they're in their second trimester or something like that. So good for them. They seem to be doing a lot better. But her and Derek decide to prank the house by putting little like motion sensor things to where people are going to hear like cats meowing, and they replaced the toilet paper with fake toilet paper and all this crazy stuff to mess with the other couples, which was fun and lighthearted. Will's talking to the men. And Will explains, and I'm gonna see if James could, because I have my opinion on Will, and I think I finally figured it out. Will is talking about, the relationship, as all of the gentlemen do when they get together, and he's explaining to the men that he is not able to differentiate the type of love that he has for Brittany, because he's like, she says that she loves me. But, for me, I have to decipher if it's, do I have love for you? Do I love you like a friend? Do I love you like my pet cat? Do I love you like I love my car? Do I love you like all this stupid shit, right? And the other men are looking at Will like he's saying a bunch of stupid shit and overanalyzing stuff, which he is. And Chad asked Will a smart question. And this is where you could tell that Chad and the other men finally figured him out. Because every time they talk to Will, you could tell they're always a little weirded out. And it's because Will is kind of awkward. Like, he just seems awkward. But Chad asks, what do you do for a living? And Will explains he's a tech consultant and his degree is in business analyzing and all this other stuff. And Chad's like, oh, so that's why you add qualifiers to the end of every sentence you make. And a lot of people in certain fields of work, and some people with certain personalities do this, and it's not an intentional thing, but some people are too analytical. Some people are too concerned with how they come off. Some people are too concerned with saying and doing the right thing and getting the right result that they entirely forget to show that they have a soul, a personality. Like, they forget to show that they're human to a certain extent. So I do think that Chad was correct in pointing that out about Will. I think he was heavily correct. But Will kind of looked confused. And this is where I was like, that's true, Chad. But this nigga also got an ego so big that nobody would see it coming because you already in it, because it just consumes you. His ego is big in the nastiest way. And people think that those with big egos are loud and obnoxious all the time, and they're not. They are really not. He is I think he thinks too highly of himself. And yes, there's a such thing. There is absolutely a such thing. But how did you feel about Chad's assessment of Will and their little conversation?
I thought it was highly interesting. And I thought it was hilarious because they didn't know what exactly they were looking at as far as how to assess him or what to assess him. And to me, honestly, it's given, and I'm going to be real with y'all. Brittany's his first relationship. That's what it was given to me. Brittany's his first relationship. He doesn't know what to do. And when you wait that long, it then makes sense because you've had to go so many times.
He's commented that this is not his first relationship, and the way he moves certain things that he does, I think I can understand why someone would see that, but I don't think it's his first relationship at all. I just don't. We'll agree to
Well,
disagree.
define relationship for you. That you don't think this is his first.
Relationship is where you're actively committed to somebody. I am married, so I think I can define one pretty well. But I don't feel like, in terms of marriage, yes, it's his first, but I don't think this is his first relationship. Now, maybe it could be his first time living with someone, but I don't think this is his first relationship by any means. I think that he has an ego. I think that he feels like he's right about everything based on his ability to analyze things. And I also think he's been breadcrumbing her for reasons that I think have to do with how he looks in the process of choosing or not choosing to stay married to her. But it's definitely not his first relationship.
I agree with you with the breadcrumbing, because I do think
that's into that. Also, you have to keep in mind, before the people come here, they go through their relationship histories. They go through all of that.
I don't know. It's something about that. I don't think so. I don't. For some reason, with them specifically, I don't think they did. I don't think they dig deep enough for them. I just don't. For both of them, I'm not just saying him, her too. I don't think they delved. I think she was honest. I don't think he was.
That's the thing of it is, that would negate literally the whole process of the show. And I get that you committed to that, but a relationship with how he is, I could see him failing relationship after relationship after relationship. I could definitely see him
I don't think he lets anybody in. That's why I said define, because I don't think he lets people in. That's the
just
problem.
Because you don't let people in doesn't mean you don't have a relationship, though. And it doesn't make something disingenuous, because some people just don't let people in. And to say and negate them for having a legitimate relationship just based on their ability to not be vulnerable or to be vulnerable isn't fair to anybody. And it's also not accurate. So that is something to look at, though he has a lot of faults. I would also look at how you view relationships, because just because someone has an inability to not open up doesn't mean that the relationship was not real or wasn't legitimate or does not count toward experience. It just means that his lack of ability to open up ended it, but he obviously still wants one. I think Will is a combination of just egotistical, overly confident, but he also, I think where we can agree is he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And it seems like he's just trying to do whatever will come off as the right thing to do, if that makes sense. But I don't know. That's my opinion on him. I would be okay with the fake animal noises and walking. What? Oh, for the beginning of the show. But I have a problem with you messing with the toilet paper. I need to be able to wipe my ass and other parts properly.
I agree. I have a problem with the fake animal noises too. I think there's a difference pranking people, like maybe spilling something or the fake glass of orange juice thing. That, I think that's fine. But when you start putting animal noises and then fake toilet paper and then remove, because I think in one of the bathrooms they removed all of the toilet paper from that bathroom, and because I remember him saying, "Oh, you're a lot dirtier than I thought," because I wouldn't even do that. I think that there's lines you just don't cross. Bathroom should be one.
That's I think anyone that disagrees with that has questionable hygiene.
Yes, very much so.
Oh dear God. Jalen talks about Josh. She ends up going separate from her mom because I think her mom realized that Jalen was going through something and was like, "Hold on, don't be telling all these hoes. Come over here." I'm tired of Jalen and Josh. I'm gonna try and be kind, but Jalen feels like Josh has a lack of knowledge about community. When she's talking about community, she's talking about a sense of community. Like, James lives in Arizona, but he has friend group in Arizona. He has family in Arizona. He's got people to turn to out there. I live in Oakland. I have friends here. I have family here. I have a sense of community. Separate from that, you get to know your neighbors. Some people find a sense of community in their neighborhoods and the people they see every day. It could be at your job, whatever the fuck, your hobbies. So I guess I've never heard of any couple arguing about a sense of community. I have
I
not
haven't
ever.
either.
Okay, that's why I was like, maybe I don't want to be rude.
To me, I think he was using that as a scapegoat to why he didn't unfollow that ex. I think this was his get back, and I think he was gaslighting her. That's why she got so frustrated, because it was like they were going around in circles, because you cannot think one broadband of activity means that's a community. Like, you can't, as a grown man, think that. Like, there's no possible way. If you have any life experience, and according to you, sir, you have a lot of it. There's no way you think that one sensibility of situation is a community. Like, you have to think differently than that. I think he was masking something else, and I think he was trying to find a reason to argue.
I actually agree with you. It almost felt like before, because we're not discussing them talking yet. That's at the end. This was just her talking to her mom, but that is likely. We'll come back to that at the end. What I thought just with her talking to her mom, I think something James said is key. The issue with that ex, ever since that came about, they have not been able to agree on anything.
Yep.
I feel like because he was made to look wrong, he's trying to get her riled up to make her look wrong in some type of way to even the score. Is that the saying?
Even the score.
Yeah, that's what it felt like, because who the fuck argues about a sense of community? I've heard of the stupidest shit that couples are arguing about. I've had my best friend Leona argue with her ex one time over a pan. My pan. They didn't talk for days over my pan that I bought in my house. I've seen couples argue over stupid, petty shit. But a sense of community, that's when you know that you're having surface level conversations still, and you're not just naturally interacting. You know, because all couples bicker. I bicker with my husband. I would say James and his boo, they bicker like a married couple. Yes. But it's never over like, it's like a comfortable banter. Like you can tell that they know each other and they're comfortable like talking a little bit of shit to each other because they're not afraid. It doesn't seem like of where it will go, which I think a lot of people and couples can get to, but Josh and Jalen like avoid it and everything is so perfect. And I knew that shit was a red flag, James. I knew it was a red flag.
Oh, absolutely. We both said it was. But the thing about it is that I wish she would have been honest with her mom, especially going through this situation with her mom, of saying, hey, this is what happened. This was our last argument. I'm sure she has, but Belinda couldn't really make sense of it.
You could tell
in the scene because Jalen was holding a lot back, and you could tell that Jalen really doesn't know on camera what she should really tell her mama, what she shouldn't. And I feel like, to me, because this is your mama, Jalen, it'd be different if you was talking like to Rhonda or somebody else. But this was your mom, and you need to be like, hey, is this normal? Is this what I should be experiencing? You've been married before. I don't know. So, like, should we be arguing about this? I
feel like Jalen doesn't fully respect her mom because her mom doesn't have the dating history that Jalen has. That's actually something to be vulnerable myself on the live. I had noticed that going to therapy when I was like 27. Like, if my mom would offer advice or comments on my marriage and friends based on how she did her marriages and her friendships, I didn't fully respect or accept the advice from her because I'm like, you didn't really know what you were doing yourself, so let me figure that out. And it took therapy for me to figure out that that's how people learn and can give good advice through failing and fucking up on their own, you know? But it doesn't seem like Jalen has gone and gotten therapy for her spouse dying, for being cheated on while he was dying, her parents splitting up and them only being together and acting like everything was okay for them. Like, if you like dissect it, she grew up with like a lot of tension to a certain extent, but I don't feel like it was a camera thing. I just feel like she may not fully want her mom's view on it.
Which is fair, because there are times I don't want my mother's view. Because, you know, in times my mom is not in a gay relationship, so she doesn't understand the dynamics. And my mom oftentimes does not believe the guys I get with are gay. So it's like, well, what do you think I'm getting with? Like, my mom has told me, like, she doesn't think Gio is gay. And I'm like, Mom, come on. Like, it's like, come on. It's like, so I totally get what you're saying. Like, sometimes you don't trust your parents' logic and judgment, because at the end of the day, they lived at a different time where, especially in my situation, where you can kind of tell back in her time which men look in, you know, certain ways. But in this day and age, it's a little bit more different, where it seems like it's more like divided into like so many different sections that, you know, it's so it's harder for them. And I think the same thing could be said about Jalen, where it's
you could respect your parents, but also understand that they cannot provide you wisdom in every area.
Yeah.
And it seems like Jalen gave that energy, but we have to get more into Josh and Jalen, because after the group has a dinner, which I didn't want to get too much into because I'm getting tired of them showing them in a circle saying why they love each other and all of this stuff when it's been 6 fucking weeks. But after the group dinner, Josh and Jalen are in their room and they have a talk. And the talk was the Hot Mess Express, y'all. She mentioned that she feels like Josh doesn't respect or acknowledge or see how she has a community that she is willing to share with him, or how she has the ability to build community. She uses examples such as being able to build her cycle class and being someone who pulls everyone together in her family and just being extroverted, which I think is why they matched her with him to an extent, because you can still, he struggles with that. But he then responds basically saying that he feels like he has not had a chance to see her prove that she has a community or can put together and maintain a community for them to have as a couple. He's saying, all you're saying is words. I haven't seen it. I'm still getting to know you. How you going to say that with the community, sir, but you don't need her to sign a post-nup? So I think that's where her frustration comes from, because he do be bullshitting. She's like, I don't understand or think you're viewing community right. Because he's like, I have a friend group, but hanging out with my friends isn't a sense of community. I'm like, oh my God. But going to a fucking music festival is? You're going to a music festival, which is a bunch of other people in their friend groups and communities. You're not part of theirs. It's who you go with. Make some friends, and you'd be surprised what people will do just for someone they care about. I have friends that's gone camping with me that hate camping. That's an example. Like, he's throwing these fits and trying to demand that she do something, it seems like, almost to avoid a community. And I'm sick of him. I'm really sick of Josh. And then he says in the next breath, well, I was an introvert till I was 28 years old. So if you were alone till you were 28 and you have this trauma from growing up poor and not being able to participate in sports and do all of the things you wanted to do, you don't have a sense of community because of your own trauma.
Right.
You're in your own way. And a lot of people go through that. So I will give him grace with that. But to attack her and make her feel less than is not okay. Now, I also feel like it's unrealistic for Jalen to expect for him to acknowledge how she likes to bring people together and that she has this ability to create and maintain community after just 6 weeks. Because she was in tears saying to this man, like, you need to say that you know this about me. But he does not know it about you. It's been 6 fucking weeks. He doesn't know much about you. So I felt like that was too big of a dags. But she needs therapy because she started crying in ways that I felt was like a little too much. But after he apologized, I understood her tears. Them was, I'm crying because I can't knock you in your face right now. Tears. Men be thinking we just emotional and stuff. Sometimes we be crying because we want to slap the shit out of y'all. But we know that we shouldn't put our hands on people. Well, I know. It seemed like Jalen, no, I can't speak for the rest of you, y'all, but you know, like, but I saw her frustration, and here's what I think it is. Because when she starts crying and getting like genuinely frustrated and a little bit louder, then he suddenly gets it. He's like, okay, I understand. So you're saying that your friends and your family and, you know, they're your sense of community and you want to bring me into that and you're cycling and this and that. I'm like, so why is it that this whole time you were arguing her down, but now that she's so upset and in tears and getting loud, you suddenly get it? You understood from the jump, Josh, what was going on. And you were trying to manipulate this girl through an argument and throwing a big ass bitch fit as a man and to giving you what you want and saying yes to Burning Man. So much so that you would argue her down about the community that you know that she has that you don't have. You didn't even have your parents at the wedding. She had her friends, her parents, her siblings, her daddy, her mama. She had so many people there. She did show him community. So I was like, Josh is dangerous and Josh is toxic. I think that Jalen has a little bit of trauma that she needs to heal from, but the fact that she didn't knock him upside his head, because when I realized how he played with her, James, you got to watch the ones that cry too much.
You do. You gotta watch the ones that cry, and then you also have to watch how they use shit against you, and in placements where you catch them in shit, and then they try to flip it on you. Because y'all have to understand what Mrs. Best saying about it being a manipulation. It was 100% a manipulation. It was a way for her to be humbled because she had caught him in some shit that he did not do that he was supposed to. So this was a way for him to get her equally as frustrated as he was when he got caught in some shit. And then when it worked, he then was like, oh, I understood it. I didn't, know that that's what you meant at first, but I totally get it and I understand. Jalen, you better be careful with that. Because that should be a stop.
Work. I just do not think that they'll work. And the worst thing, now Megan and Derek, I feel like whether they work or not, even with baby, I feel like they'll be able to raise their kid, go separate ways. Josh and Jalen, let's say Josh and Jalen were the couple that was pregnant. I think he would give her hell. He gives me toxic baby daddy energy after watching these last few episodes. And Jalen wants to be positive. And though she has some stuff to work through, I love a person that wants to be positive and wants to smile and wants to find the good in spite of the negative that they've been through. You have to respect people like that. You just do, especially when it comes to love and dating. I always respect the people who go through the worst when dating and get back up and still go out there and try and date and don't give up on trying to find a person, because that takes so much courage. So I respect her for that. Josh ain't shit though, but we gonna move forward because he is not shit.
Yeah, terrible.
Will tells Brittany that he doesn't know how to navigate around her bad feelings or her mood. Now, they are playing pickleball with Megan and Derek. They're having a nice little double date. And, things are going well till they get to the end of the match. And Brittany was me. I am competitive. But she kept fucking up. And I was just cracking up after so long with that ball.
And that part is me. Because I would fuck up some shit in a minute and get to swearing and cussing out loud and act like I didn't. That's why I know if the movie Saw was a real thing, I would die in the first scene. Because I would have forgot the instructions already and would like, what the fuck would I do? Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I can't sit through those movies. I've never been able to sit through one of those movies.
Me either. That's why I said I know I would die, because the whole concept of this movie, you have to follow instructions.
Oh, no, I know the concept. I can follow instructions, though. I'm learning in life or death situations. My mind pushes through it. I'm grateful.
I have to read the instructions. You can't just tell me what to do. I'm not one of those people. I'm sorry.
No. Okay, well, that's good to know. If we ever in a pickle and it's life or death, let me take over.
Yes,
I get us out. Oh, Lord. But Whitney and not Whitney. Oh, Lord. Will, maybe Whitney's found our Salt Lake City review. Will tells Brittany that he doesn't know how to navigate around her bad feelings when they're talking about it at the tennis match. And, basically he comments on, how Brittany's mood could be problematic. And she's like, are you irritated? And she was calm. She's like, because you can tell me Brittany had the perspective to Will. She's like, I want you to know you can tell me when I've done something wrong or something I do that bothers you. And she was calm. She didn't flip out or nothing. But he got irritated. And he says that he was annoyed because he felt like she was digging for a problem. But it's like, Will, she said, what about me irritates you? And you said nothing. You're perfect. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. There's something about every person, even my favorite person on the planet, that bothers me. Everybody, like, it doesn't mean you don't dislike them. We just tolerate it. That's the joy in choosing the people you care for. So I didn't understand why Will didn't get that. But I was laughing at Megan and Derek because Megan and Derek are me and my husband when we're around a lot of couples. We are not a couple that argues often, even in private. And I don't know why. I'm lucky. Let me knock on wood before he pissed me off or something. But we're not. But me and my husband are always around other couples. We've been around other couples when they're physically fighting, when he's had to literally pull them apart and I'm pulling somebody else apart. We've been around couples as they find out that somebody else is pregnant. At times they shouldn't. We've been around couples that have had fights that have resulted and people getting out of the car while we were on 580, which is an interstate here in the Bay Area. We've seen some shit with couples. And I was Megan and Derek. They were like, should we stand here? What do we do? And I was cracking up at Derek because he's like, yeah, but I want to get this last point. Derek. And Megan's like, no, babe, we should just let them cool it. Let them get it out. Because they was leaving the court and then they just out of nowhere had this like serious discussion. That was James too. Because if a couple does that around James, because somebody's always doing some fuck shit around James, James is going to sit there silently and mind his business. If he's got some food, he's eating.
Yes. I was going to say, usually I'm eating and ignoring and then I'm like, y'all done?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm usually the person that like ignores people when they're arguing.
Because I don't want nobody in my business if I were to have an argument. So I'm like, I'm gonna
there was an argument I had in front of you, and I was very pissed that he did that shit.
What? In front of me?
Yes.
See, I be high. I don't know if he was going. I don't be knowing what's going on.
I was like, I cannot believe in front of my best friend and her husband, you actually would do some shit like this.
Oh Lord, I didn't even catch it.
And because it was so subtle. Well, first of all, I was writing the shit because we had this argument before, and it's something I want him to either change or leave me alone altogether. Because to me,
oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
And he shut up because he said, "I'll let you have this one." Yeah.
Oh no,
you're not gonna play me like that. No, you're not gonna do that to me. Like I didn't make up that shit.
We did peep that, and James is the proof that me and Josiah are Megan and Derek in that situation. We act like we don't hear nothing. They see
right. Nothing. I forgot y'all was in the fucking car until you said something because I was pissed.
No, I peeped it more so than him because I know James, and I was like, oh, he's irritated. I said, when that Oakland come out of James, when that Bay Area starts to come out.
A child, no, because he's shy. But I tell you, he had me so fucked up in that car.
It be little things sometimes.
Usually I'm not like that, y'all. I'm really like, I don't argue in front of people. I don't. But that particular moment,
they said, I've known her 20 years. You got me fucked up.
Yeah, no, like I don't give a fuck about her in the backseat. No, you're not gonna do this to me. You're not gonna make me feel like I'm fucking crazy and that I just made up some shit at the beginning of our fucking relationship. You're not gonna do that. Like, no, you're not gonna do that.
He was quiet though. He got quiet though, y'all.
No, because he knew his
man is not one
to be
just
quiet.
Get quiet.
Yes,
so
he's
that's
not.
What I knew. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not. We would have went back and forth the whole way fucking home. Like we would have.
Yeah. You gotta love your friends like that, because I really, you gotta love your friends like that. That you know them. Oh Lord, where was I? But Megan and Britt, they end up separating. Megan and Brittany talk, and I'm okay. Megan, I didn't like you for like whole season.
Oh, for real.
Ever since you got pregnant and he went to your mama house, I love you. I love your mom. I love your family. Liking Megan. I think Megan is one of those people who you just have to get to know to figure out she's not
she's not what she really is down to earth.
Yeah.
She just is very guarded and reserved.
Yeah. And I love to be wrong about people. I love a surprise like personality. I love that. I love that. But Megan and Brittany talking. Megan was really supportive of Brittany. Megan explains to Brittany, like she validated Brittany's feelings, which I think Brittany really needed because the experts won't do it, which is pissing me off. Because when Megan and Will met, or when Will and Brittany met with the experts, it was very clear what he was lacking, but they almost focused on her a little more than they needed to, in my opinion. So I feel like Megan or Brittany just needs to be validated, and Megan provided that. Brittany mentioned stuff that I actually respected and showed how serious she's taking the process. And this is what a wife does. She said, I tried to approach him kindly. I didn't yell. I held my attitude. She said that she has been correcting her actions to watch how she talks to him and is trying to do things in a way that makes him comfortable. But she feels like what she's giving, she's not receiving, essentially. And she doesn't know if she should. She's trying to understand and decipher if Will just does not care or if he's just trying to avoid confrontation, which I would feel frustrated. Now, I know I gave Brittany hell in the beginning because she did the most and she didn't express herself correctly. And I think that's why she's in this situation. I think Will gives me the type of guy who shuts down after the first big argument. That's what he gives me because he hasn't been right since then. And even prior to that, it took him a little bit to warm up to her after the wedding day. They were a little like timid around each other at first. So I don't know, but Will is talking to Derek and Will feels like everything he does is attached to Brittany. And I'm like, bro, the only reason she feels this way is because you're sending mixed signals or no signals at all, which is ridiculous this late into the experiment. When couples get together, usually their first 8 weeks are like honeymoon. And then after that, the shit changes. But like they're not even 5 weeks in. So Will is, in my opinion, making every excuse for not progressing. I don't like how he's moving. Derek tries to tell Will he needs to tell Brittany how he feels and in a clear way. And Derek even explained to Will, like, by him doing this, your response makes it harder for you to connect with her and for her to feel vulnerable or safe with you. And I don't think Will got it.
He didn't. You know why he didn't get it is because he doesn't see it being an issue. Because it has nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with her. And if he does not feel this way, she shouldn't feel this way. And this is where I'm like, I feel like it's really lacking because on a decent human level, you should be able to validate somebody's feelings and understand where they're coming from, even when you don't necessarily care for them or even like them. You should have some level of decency to say, okay, my feelings for you are very strong. I'm just having a hard time connecting with you right now. And I think maybe in time it will get better. Easy. That's very easy.
Everything but that.
Yes.
And then he acts offended. And it's like, for someone so logical, you understand and should be able to decipher that this is what she wants. But you're choosing to blur the lines.
And it's not even a choose, it's an actively choice. It's like one that he recognizes that he's doing. It's just he feels like she should understand that. And it's like, no, she doesn't know you. So how does she understand it? And then why would you want to do that? Someone you are married to.
He does eventually apologize to Brittany, but it seemed like he only apologized because he was concerned that she was teary-eyed, because people don't understand that when you're in a relationship with someone and you feel unwanted, like you're a burden or like they're throwing stuff that they've done for you in your face, those are the worst spaces, in my opinion, that a person can be in their relationship, like on the receiving end. It's horrible. So I do empathize with Brittany and how she feels, But I don't like that every time she cries, he tries to get sweet. And it just seems like he doesn't understand how his words and his actions make other people feel, even outside of her. Because he looks weirded out every time someone tries to give him advice or bond with him on the show, like in terms of the men. And you could tell he just feels like he knows more than them, but he doesn't. But Brittany tries to get deep with him. She's like, there has to be a reason that you're unable to open up or be vulnerable. And she asked him if there's an emotional connection. And instead of saying yes or no, which that was a yes or no question, he says, I mean, it could be stronger. And she asked him, like, what's missing? And he cannot say. I'm like, Will, you're breadcrumbing her. Because when she asks you if there's an emotional connection, you say yes or no, but you want to say that it could be stronger. So then she has to ask you again. And you're like, I mean, if I'm saying it could be stronger, that means there's something there. But you not saying that there's actually something there, but then acknowledging it later, you're breadcrumbing this girl to keep her in the process long enough. But I don't think this nigga wants her. I think he likes fucking her, but I don't think he wants to stay married to her. And he seems like too much of a coward to say that, or he just wants to finish the experience and to save face so it don't look like he tapped out early. But I don't trust Will after this.
I don't either, because to me, there's nothing worse than being with somebody and they're pretending to like you and that they're pretending to want to be in this experience with you, only for them to make you unsure and then to some degree make you feel that you're unworthy of them, which is what he's doing. And I felt bad for her as well, because she doesn't know which way the cookie is crumbling. She just knows that it's falling all over her. And
she probably feels like she's at fault too, because their initial first issue was her. The intimacy, it seems like the way she freaked out about it, I think they just never got it right after that. And even when they look like they are, I said this, like this why I didn't see the turnaround for her. I do think she wants the marriage and likes the effort, but the reason I've never seen it for this couple is just I don't think it's hard for people to succeed when there's one person in a relationship not being honest about their feelings.
Could it be possible? Let me kind of look at it from another point of view. Could it be possible that when he wanted to open up because she initially shut him down, he's being very cautious of not wanting to be rejected like that again? Could it be that he maybe is, holding out his feelings and emotion because in the time where he would have been vulnerable with her, she completely shut it down to where he doesn't know which way to go. He knows he still wants to be in this experience, but that one experience tainted how he looks at her and he's waiting for it to be more solid. Do you think that that could be what it is?
I feel like that's what it was. But I feel like he's not able to get over it. I think at first he was embarrassed at one, the rejection randomly with the sex, and then two, her getting angry and flipping out. I think he was turned off, but also rejected. So I do think that was a thing. But I think as time progressed and since they've been back from the honeymoon, I think living with her, there's just something about it he doesn't like.
So because we didn't see her outburst on camera, they didn't make the final edit. That's why I'm saying, like, I want to be kind of in somewhat fairness. Do you think it's possible that her bad mood was similar to their wedding night? And that's probably why he puts himself at a distance, because we didn't see her outburst or whatever she had that morning where she had flipped out over something. I don't know what it was.
They didn't have sex on their wedding night, though. They waited till they were on the honeymoon.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about whatever outburst she had. Because remember, she said that she had an outburst that morning, the next morning at this retreat.
Regardless of the outburst that she had, I said from the beginning, I think he was done after that situation. Mm-hmm. But I think he still wanted to give it a shot, like you said. But I think even through trying to give it a shot, I think that every issue that comes up, he's hypersensitive to because of how she responded so early on. Because you have to think, if you'll flip out like that on me so soon, what will you do when you comfortable and you really know me?
But that's
So I
what
do
I'm
feel
saying.
like he's probably uncomfortable because of that. But that's still not an excuse. If you're not interested and not comfortable, then say that. And he has not said that.
I don't think that that's what triggers him.
All we could do is inference to what triggers him or makes him act this way because he doesn't speak. He doesn't say shit. And when he is speaking, he speaks in a way that says to a person, what I'm saying is final. I've done my research. Do not question me. I'm more intelligent. That's how he comes off, even when interacting with the men. So it's one of those things where I'm like, we've watched every cast member at one point tell Will about himself and his behavior. And he still, if you pay attention, looks annoyed or looks at people like it's going in one ear and out the other. The brother don't want to hear fully that he's changed. And I feel like he is in his own way. But we got to get an update on Pat and Rhonda. Now, Pat and Rhonda wasn't on this couples retreat because Rhonda and her kids and her grandkids, her whole family gets together and does like this family trip, which I thought was a wonderful thing. And I love that. Apparently, there's a problem we're going to see in the next episode on this trip. And I'm tired of you, Rhonda, because you're doing this shit again, Rhonda. Pat decided to purchase tickets to take Rhonda on a date, doing something for the both of them that he chose. Rhonda was bothered that Pat did not check with her first and wanted to share calendars so that this issue did not happen again. She did this instead of saying thank you, it sounds like. And so Pat just walked away from her in the grocery store and didn't want to discuss it. Let me tell you something, Rhonda. Women like you are exactly why some men cheat. I'm sorry. Because he planned a date. Sometimes you get a surprise date. Why should my husband have to look at my calendar to pencil himself in? Versus, okay, he's planned a date for you. That's sweet. That's romantic. Clear your schedule for him. At what point is Rhonda going to prioritize Pat? It seems like all she does is complain and then say that he makes it about him. But Rhonda, all you've done is talk about yourself this whole fucking season. You haven't talked about what you like to get to know about Pat. You haven't talked about anything positive with his likes. You haven't talked about wanting to go do the things that he wants to do. You've just complained in every moment that you could. I can't blame you, Pat. Do you have anything to add to Rhonda?
I want her to cut this shit out. Because to me, it almost is more damaging for her than it is the entire marriage. I feel like, why do you make it hard for him to want to impress you and want to make things centered around you, but then you complain about him not doing that when you do activities and stuff and he's not showing interest? How is he supposed to show you interest when you won't allow him to do it the way he wants to do it? Like, Rhonda is confusing. And I want her to cut this shit out because she's not doing this, as a sentiment that she's healed and from a good place. She's doing this because she wants to prove that something is always wrong with somebody. And to me, that's even worse than anything Pat could do at this point. So whatever frustrations that Pat has with you, it's actually warranted now at this point because you keep making it difficult for him. And there's nothing more else he can do because he's married to you. He can't walk off and leave you. Well, he could, but he's not going to do it. So I don't understand why she makes this so fucking hard. Like, I loved Rhonda in the beginning of this. Now I don't even like her.
I think that this is the too much Rhonda was talking about. I think because Rhonda was bubbly and older and has kind of a youthful spirit to her that we thought when she said that people would say she's too much, that it had to do with personality. I don't think it's personality. I think these other people have been saying that Rhonda's too much and ending relationships with Rhonda because of how she's behaving with Pat. I genuinely feel that way because no human would deal with this. And until Rhonda understands that, she's going to probably be alone or drive a man crazy or both.
Or both, because I feel like Pat is that his way. The way he splits that car the same way Dolores splits that car up in Marge's driveway. So it was like, yeah, there's only so much he's gonna be able to take.
Right. And then she's complaining about him still getting up the next day and participating with family instead of throwing a fit and staying away and not getting to know her family. I said, Rhonda, you're never happy. Moving on. White women. Josh and Jalen want revenge on Megan and Derek. So they got it by throwing some water balloons. I thought it was funny. At first, I thought Megan was going to throw a fit, but she took it in stride. I said, you ain't going to have cats meowing and crickets chirping and think I'm not going to get you back.
Okay, for real. Like, girl, get over it.
Okay. Craziness. Now, last thing we see in this episode is a dinner with the whole table, and Will is expressing how he understands that he speaks in a way that sometimes without thought as it relates to Brittany. He's still not hearing everyone at the table explaining to him how she needs to feel validated. And Brittany is at the table in tears, and Will didn't even try to comfort her. He didn't even try. He was more concerned with having his answers ready to all the people at the table telling him that he's wrong than he was with how she was doing. So Brittany gets up and thanks everyone for their kind words, because they were, when I say that whole table supported her, because I think they've been seeing how he is for a while, especially Belinda and Chad. And I think the table has probably seen more than we've seen on camera and is probably surprised that she's dealt with it for so long with such grace. But Brittany gets up, goes to the bathroom to cry. I want you to be done with him. I was happy Megan went and checked on her since her nigga didn't. But the fact that that man did not get up and check on you is all you needed to see. You're not going to have me in tears and understand that I have love for you, as she's saying it, and not at least care to be careful enough to not embarrass me like this. Make it clear. If you like me, like me. If you don't like me, tell me. Don't have me in the middle but still be trying to hit it, which is what he's doing. So, how'd you feel about that last table scene, James?
See, this is why I wouldn't go on the show, because there's no way I could deal with Will. Like, there would be no way Dr. Pepper and them could match me with somebody like him, and I not go to jail for slapping the shit out of him, because I would have at some point. Because I'm not going to keep crying over you like this. I'm just not going to keep doing this. I'm not going to ruin another vacation setting over your antics, which I feel like now that I'm reassessing in my mind the honeymoon, I feel like this was happening then too.
Yep.
And that's probably why she was so frustrated in the beginning. But we didn't see that because the camera just panned on her attitude the whole fucking time. So I honestly, at this point, yeah, it would have gotten to a point where I'm just like, I don't know what else to do but walk away, because I would have left. I wouldn't have given him that option. She is giving him option after option after option to tell me you like me, or tell me this is still working, tell me this is going in the right direction, tell me you have feelings for me, offer him to go around the answer and answer it in some confusing ass word vomit or word salad, whatever they're calling it today. The Marceau Scotts of the world. There we go.
Yeah, he always has to look like he's smarter or better. I don't like people that move that way. If you were so smart, you'd have a wife, sir. You have all the answers, right?
You wouldn't be on Married at First Sight if you
wouldn't be on this show.
You show
what you were doing and how you were and how you are was not an issue and did not prove to be problematic. You would not be on this show. But it's interesting. I hope that Will does learn, because he doesn't seem like a bad person. He just seems obnoxious. Brittany, I hope she hangs in there. Stand up for yourself, woman up. Leave that Negro. At decision day, regardless of what, she needs to say no. Because there's no way you can value the idea of having a wife and treat her this way. There's no way. But that's all I have for y'all this episode. We're going to head over to James's channel, the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. If you want to get there quickly, please see the link in the description of this video. It'll take you right to James's channel. We are going to go over the latest episode of The Housewives of Potomac. Wish us luck, beautiful people. But I will see you guys on Friday to go over the next couple episodes of Married at First Sight. And we'll be back tomorrow to go over, does Love and Hip Hop air tonight or tomorrow?
I think it's tomorrow. I think it's.
I'm not sure, but Love and Hip Hop will be our next live together. We'll also have Surviving Mormonism, Housewives of Salt Lake City, and Married at First Sight at the end of the week, as well as Bell Collective, The Braxtons, and now Love and Marriage Huntsville. So we have a lot of shows coming the rest of the week. I'll see you guys next time, and adios.